Hello and welcome back. Wow, there is so much to get into. I have been gone off the internet for 5 days, but I've been watching. And I was in a really good place, actually. Good, bad, deep into a rabbit hole, I'd say. I went there, I got sent some videos by this amazing creator on TikTok, and man, did she send me down a rabbit hole. The last few days I've been debating whether or not that I should even be talking about this because the players in this case, we are all focused on the attorney eyes only for Taylor Swift, but it goes beyond Taylor Swift. There are so many players here that all colluded together in order to take over the movie from Justin Baldoni and give it to Blake Lively, in order to make sure that Blake got everything she wanted. And we're going to get into it because I cannot unsee it, and I think the truth needs to get out there. It is such a wild, wild ride, and it kind of all lines up, and I'm going to be lining it up with the actual timeline of relevant events. Oh my gosh, there's so much to get into, so let's just right away buckle in. We're going on a ride. Before we go directly into that, because I have been gone for a few days, let's just talk, and I'm going to try to do this super quick, about everything that has happened only in the last few days. I swear it ends with never, but over the last few days there have been some things that have been circling the internet, so let's just get right into it. And you get emotion, and you get emotion. Now, this is very typical, I think, in courts to file motions. So, of course, we did go over the attorney eyes only motion, which was filed. Blake did get a slight win here. She filed something with the court asking for attorney eyes only. She got some of it approved, some of it denied. It was a slight win because there are things that the public won't be able to see unless, of course, those things are allowed into the courtroom, and then it's discovery for everyone. But there are some things, and that's fine. It's a good thing. A lot of the things were like medical bills and things that have nothing to do with the case, like security, etc., etc. So we won't be able to see those, which is totally fine. On Thursday, with Blake Lively's little win, Judge Lehman issued a protective order to protect the confidentiality of certain non-public and confidential material that will be exchanged pursuant to and during the course of discovery in this case. The protective order includes an attorney eyes only category, which was what Lively was fighting for, to keep sensitive information confidential from public consumption. Basically, it's just an attorney eyes only for certain things that could, hurt a business, or for security measures like marketing plans, confidential business project, security measures, medical information, and highly personal and intimate information about third parties. We're going to get to the third parties in the latter half of this video because, oh my gosh, I'm trying to get through this because this rabbit hole is cray-cray. Brian Freeman, Justin Baldoni, and Wayfair's lawyers did have a statement to say, "We are fully in agreement with the court's decision to provide a narrow scope of protections to categories such as private mental health records and personal security measures that have never been of interest to us, as opposed to Ms. Lively's exceedingly overbroad demand of documents for a 2.5-year period of time, which the court rightfully squashed." Brian Freeman added, "We remain focused on the necessary communications that will directly contradict Ms. Lively's unfounded accusations. We will oppose any efforts by Ms. Lively and her team to hamper our client's ability to defend against her attacks by incorrectly categorizing important information as trade secrets, especially considering that there was no issues in providing these communications willingly to the New York Times." Yeah, it's kind of tricky when you get into it and you realize that, but wait, she was able to drop all these private communications with the New York Times, but now that it's her turn, she doesn't want anything out there. Blake Lively's team did release a statement as well. Today, the court rejected the Wayfair party's objections and entered the protections needed to ensure the free flow of discovery material without any risk of witness intimidation or harm to any individual security. With this order in place, Ms. Lively will move forward in the discovery process to obtain even more of the evidence that will prove her claims in court. Even more, where is even a little? Leslie Sloan filed a motion today to the judge, Judge Lehman, and it's very interesting. I highlighted the part that I thought that was the most interesting, I guess, because he had granted the New York Times a pause on discovery. They're trying to do the same thing because they think their case is going to get dismissed as well. Leslie Sloan, girl, you are so in this. Oh my gosh. The New York Times does have fair reporting, and that is kind of a pause whether or not it is going to get dismissed. It still hasn't been ruled whether or not it will be dismissed or not. But Leslie, I do not think, nor do I want your case to get dismissed, because I think you are so in this. But something very interesting that she says, the Wayfarer parties served a striking 370 requests for production of documents and 18 interrogatories on the Sloan parties. So they're asking, it wasn't a 370-page document or anything. There was 370 requests. Each request is separate. Therefore, for example, all communications between Stephanie Jones and Leslie Sloan, communication between Leslie Sloan's and Blake Lively, communications between Leslie Sloan's assistant and Blake Lively, communications with Maximum Effort, communication, etc., etc., etc. Who knows, like all of the communications. However, those would each be one individual document that they're asking for. And of course, they are asking for a lot. Hello? You know what I mean? Where are the receipts from your team? But it does also say, which I thought was very interesting, because everyone was trying to get Wayfarer and Justin Baldoni, and we all went through that whole thing about how they wanted 2.5 years of recording with all staff, with everything, like the most broad scope of requests that you can ever ask for. They were asking for 2.5 years, no matter who they talk to. We want everything. We want every email. We want all the mistresses. We want all the therapists, etc., etc., etc. That was denied. However, now Leslie Sloan is saying that this is too broad-ranging and extensive request, including 43 different document requests and 11 interrogatories. Each document request seeks all documents and communications concerning a wide range of entities and individuals, as well as all of their employees, representatives, agents, subsidiaries, affiliates, accountants, attorneys, successors, da-da-da-da-da. I think they're just wanting everything that has to do with it ends with us. And there's probably a ton of communications that they need and they want. And yeah, you gotta show them, girl. Also, earlier in the week, or the latter half of last week, a girl who was staying at a hotel called 1928 had a very interesting and strange encounter, which she alleges happened with Blake Lively and her team. It is very strange. I believed her right away because if the shoe fits, you know what I'm saying? She was staying at this hotel. She claims that while she was there only one night, she was there with her mom, that she saw Blake Lively in the lobby near the gift place. She took her phone out to record it. She has said since the beginning that you can't really see anything on the video. It's a quick, 18-second thing. And if you couldn't hear Blake Lively's voice, then you wouldn't even know that it was her. But she comes out to say that she was recording her, and then Blake saw them recording, or her team was kind of following her around and then saw her recording. And Blake herself ran out and was getting her license plate, and her photo of her said hi, and then the girl looked up and she thought that Blake had done that so that she can get her face on video. Not thinking anything of it, she posted a few things to her story. Well, in her stories on Instagram, she had some people looking at her stories that had nothing to do with, her, or that follow her, and it looked like a little bit of bot accounts. But then she noticed that one person in particular who viewed her story was a manager of the hotel, actually the same hotel that she just stayed at. Then one of the ladies was what looked like the same nanny that Blake had there. Although Blake and Ryan do always claim that they don't use nannies. Very interesting. And it's also very interesting, I have to note, that Blake Lively allegedly has a nanny, and this woman is a person of color, considering her past, getting married on a plantation, admitting to do blackface. Now there's a promo about what she did on Another Simple Favor 1, where she's using a person of color as a footstool, etc., 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 that her nanny. But anyway, there was a bunch of people, and then other people started like commenting on it, viewing her stories, and she thought that they all kind of led to Blake. I believe her, and I only believe her because I've had people comment on my socials also that when they post anything that has to do with Blake or anti-Blake, I guess you can say, that they get bot accounts that also threaten them. B613 is working overtime. So I do believe that that has happened because she's not the first person that has said anything about this kind of behavior. However, in a strange turn of events, I guess there were some content creators who was trying to get the video from her and have an interview with her on their live, and then she said that she'd be on the live but then didn't show up, and then they kind of went like mean girl on her, and then they didn't like the fact that she didn't go to their live, so now she must be lying. It was all just a little bit very bizarre, but yeah, I do believe this girl, and I do believe that that there was an incident with Blake at the hotel. There definitely was something there because of the traction that she later got on her social media and her stories, the accounts that were like checking out her stories and following her and then DMing her, and it just all kind of makes sense to me. Sharon Stone now has come out and made a comment about how she was cast in Another Simple Favor and that she was removed from the film. That was a kind of a thing, but not really, because then the director said that they shopped the script to her but never officially cast her, so who knows about all of that and why that happened. I don't think it could have been a budget thing if you're paying Blake Lively. But yeah, very interesting that Sharon Stone, I just wonder what else she has to say, how the story actually went, because to publicly comment that is very bizarro. And now just for the last little tidbit before we go far, far down into a rabbit hole and talk about all of the dragons that Miss Blake Lively is trying to protect, not just Taylor Swift, but there's a handful of them. Stephanie McNeil not having a good time from Glamour magazine got all of the mommy sleuths, not only internet sleuths, but all the content creators. What is going on? She wrote this article saying that the hate on Blake Lively is due to mommy sleuths on the internet, and pretty much said that, used a lot of different wording, but that content creators are using this as a paycheck, so completely dismisses that we are just out here for justice. But also says that like mommy sleuths, I guess, throws them under the bus as not being like real journalists or real reporters. And then, of course, when all else fails, call us all MAGAs. If we are pro-Justin or we're leaning towards Justin's side or full team Justin, then we must be MAGA. Again, they're going to try to use anything to separate us, honestly. They've tried politics already. They've tried religion. They tried their Me Too movement. It's exhausting, right? But to take away from the amount of work that it takes to read all of the documents, to find all of the Easter eggs, to read all of the lawsuits and really piece it together yourself and go through it and have an opinion on it, to then just cast that aside as, being a MAGA lover and anti-feminist, and we have too much time on our hands because we're not real journalists, and she is ridiculous. And then she made a whole apology video, an explanation video. I wouldn't say it was an apology video. Basically didn't help. She goes on to say that, like, because she works at her job, she doesn't get paid more or less depending on the article she writes, and it doesn't matter if people read it or not. Whereas content creators, we always need something to go off of because we get paid off views, and that's why every day there's things happening. No, every day there's things happening in this case, okay? It's been 5 days and there's just always so much. So Stephanie McNeil, not a good look for you. not okay that you would just go and broadly call out and then call content creators mommy sleuths. I mean, gross, not here for it. Yeah, that's pretty yucky of you. I tried to do that really quick so we can get to the meat and the potatoes of it all, okay? The freaking rabbit hole, because what if I told you it wasn't just about Taylor Swift? What if I told you it has to do with, of course, Isabella Ferreira, of course, Brandon Sklenar, okay? Of course, Taylor Swift, we now know. But what if I told you it also has to do with Hugh Jackman, Bradley Cooper, Gigi Hadid, Sean Levy, and probably others? It gets so bonkers, and we're going to start from the beginning, and we're going to go into the rabbit hole. Have some patience with me because this is going to get so deep and so juicy, but I'm going to talk individually about each person and at the end show you why this matters and what they all did together and what I think Justin Baldoni and his team are trying to figure out, how involved all of these people are and to what extent. And they will only find that out in Discovery, but it has way more to do than just Leslie Sloan and Stephanie Jones. We already know their involvement, probably not to the extent, but we know they're involved, right? Like, come on. But the others, whoo, wild. And it all starts with the sweaters. These sweaters, okay? A lot of people, after I posted my last video when I just like quickly went over the video of the sweaters, a lot of people were asking about the sweaters. What does that have to do with anything? They're all Easter eggs because, as we know, with these people, everything is intentional.
Which led to the discovery of a video where you see Blake Smollett actually behind the scenes caught red-handed having authorship over the skit with her husband, okay? She was caught red-handed. I'm not going to lie, I was kind of shocked. I was disgusted. I didn't think it was funny. I was truly shocked, and I didn't think a lot of things could shock me at this point. Which then led to everybody asking, what the hell is up with these matching sweaters? So I naturally found the sweaters, okay, and the whole cast was wearing them. They were obvious Easter eggs, so we were wondering what the heck kind of Easter eggs are these? So that's when one of my followers, Making Hella Happen, said, hey, go check out one of Justin's posts. It's eerily similar to what you are saying with the sweaters. So I jump on Justin's post and I find this. It's him and his wife, quote, twinning. And he said, you better believe I bought this, quote, woman's outfit immediately. Who made these rules? Hashtag breaking gender norms. I mean, this is just so exhausting. So this was obviously the Easter egg, okay? They were, quote, twinning with their sweaters, with their pink and blue sweaters, which correspond to the, quote, defy gender norms, picking on him for this post. So basically picking on his philosophy, his brand, once again. Do these people ever stop?
Everything is intentional. A lot of people are still saying about how, oh, Blake was just following the marketing plan. Whose marketing plan? Maximum Effort? How she squeezed maximum effort into this project was supposed to be for free, but I doubt that that's how it went down at the end of the day. But now there's footage of Blake actually directing one of the cringiest PR interviews that happened on the end. It Ends With Us. Let's just play a clip now.
It's cool. It's not every day the husband gets to interview his wife's love interest in a film.
Well, it's not every day the mother-in-law of the leading lady gets to interview the love interest, and the man trying to replace my sweet little gummy bear, Ryan.
It's not every day a guy gets to interview the love interest of his best friend's wife, and the guy trying to replace Ryan as a husband, and me as his best mate.
So you see Ryan's mom was involved, Hugh Jackman was there, Robin Lively we now see in these same sweaters, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds. There was a bunch of people there, but someone who they missed out on being there was, ding, 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 Isabella Ferrer. Now, we know she's all trapped up in this whole thing because Blake clawed her way into her life and groomed her. We know that Blake Lively likes to love bomb people and give them stuff, and that's how I think that she got Isabella so easily. And I will go through a little bit of timeline relevance a little bit later with Isabella to prove this is how she got her. But right now I'm just going to be focused on what these people got in order to help Blake Lively get what she wanted, which is the PGA credit, so that she can stand with the big dogs. Anna Kendrick, Reese Witherspoon, Scarlett Johansson, right? There's some things that happened during this filming that I think Blake wanted to be the it girl. She wanted to be on top. Something happened in the writers' strike between, I think, Ryan and Blake that had nothing to do with Justin. It had to do with their entire relationship. Probably a little bit of jealousy, I would say, because Blake does fall for all of her leading men in the past. There is a freaking record sheet, okay? It is a pattern. So I think something happened there, and then throughout their whole problems in their own relationship, they devised a plan. But let's get to Isabella. Isabella, okay, is over here on this set in the matching sweater, but there's more. She also gave her this. She was dressing her. Note the bag. Where is the bag from? It ends with us. It is a notable bag that Blake Lively put all over the movie, and now it's Isabel Ferrer's. Interesting. Also, check these earrings. Wow, nice earrings. Blake, I wonder who got those. Isabella Ferrer. Yeah, she was buying her off with clothes, earrings, fashion, taking her out to the Deadpool and Wolverine, proudly dressing her like her little Barbie doll. And now who is this? Gigi Hadid. Gigi Hadid has been best friends with Blake for a very, very long time. Why is she so important to this? Well, let's talk about it. The sweaters that you see all of these people wearing in this is in fact from Gigi Hadid's collection. It is $600 sweaters. It's been reported that Blake went over budget by this much. This isn't a small amount. Did Gigi Hadid get money back? Because Blake Lively talked about Gigi Hadid's fashion line throughout the whole press tour that even publications were starting to notice. Did they get paid? Did the money go back to Gigi Hadid's pocket to use her fashion in the movie? Where is the budget? Where is the budget for this sweaters interview? Now, when it comes to Brandon Sklenar, we already know. And if you don't know, now you know. What did he get? Well, he has a upcoming role in Paul Feig's new movie. So that's interesting how he got that. During the same timing of It Ends With Us, he was able to sign to WME, Blake and Ryan's, Ari Emanuel's Ride or Die agency, the one that dropped Justin Baldoni. And Blake and Ryan also were commenting that he should be the next Batman. So we know what he got in this interaction. Everyone has got paid. I believe that they promised all of these people something. They all came together and they were robbing It Ends With Us blindly. All of them were getting something in this deal. So Hugh Jackman, we already know, is going to ride for Ryan Reynolds. I mean, he did the entire Deadpool and Wolverine. We're yet to see how that nice pool character was, came about. But he's not going to leave his best buddy, Ryan Reynolds. So we'll see exactly his involvement. I'm sure it's huge. I'm sure he was a big key player. But do you know who else? And this breaks my heart. It breaks my heart to say. And it's just alleged, okay? I'm just going to be showing documents. Y'all can make up your own mind on it, okay? Bradley Cooper. Bradley Cooper. What did he get? What was he promised? Because in the last few days, I've been researching, trying to figure out what he got. What could they possibly have promised him? Because why is he thanked in the special credits? Of course, we know now that Blake, they both did a screening of each film. Blake's didn't score as high. There's this Reddit post that came out now over a year ago. Bradley Cooper was there. Nobody knew what the movie was about, Blake's original cut. But then she still gives him a special thanks in the credit. And then still on IMDb Pro, he gets a special thanks. And while I was on IMDb, I did also see this in Ryan Reynolds' thing. I guess he got a writer credit, but is not credited. But anyway, ugh. But Bradley, tell me, what was it? Because I know it wasn't just I got your back because you set me up with my girlfriend, Gigi Hadid. What did you get? And I think after the discovery, Brian Freeman is going to have the answer here, because there was a meeting that happened, which I'm going to get to, which is why this is all tied in together. There was a meeting of the dragons because somewhere Blake decided, I want this movie. And it was somewhere during the writer's strike. And I think I pinpoint a few things. They all got together, Sean Levy included. Now, Sean Levy's probably just going to do anything that Ryan and Hugh tell him to. Of course. He wants to keep making those movies. On October 26, 2023, there was a meeting of the dragons. It was with the Sean Levy, Taylor Swift, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, Bradley Cooper, all in Bradley Cooper's apartment. So I have a feeling that maybe Gigi Hadid was there as well. But they all gathered. Okay, and why is this very important? Let's get into the timeline. Stay with me here because we're going to get to it. But the timeline of relevant events is very, very, very important. So they filmed the first phase 1. They're supposed to keep going, of course, but there is a writer's strike. So here there is an email sent on June 21st of 2023, and it is saying that they had to shut down due to the strike. However, receiving a waiver from the Writers Guild Association the next day, we were cleared to pick back up again. Production made an attempt to reach out to Blake to stay until the 23rd as originally planned, but we were told that she was leaving, and as a result, we are using the time to shoot other scenes where Blake's character is not in. We have to do pickups at a later time. As of now, production was not shut down. Could you please advise on the status of getting the C of E signed? Therefore, nothing, still not signed. The C of E, I'm sure, is like some of the contract, not signed. This was on June 21st. On June 16th, Wayfair undertook a significant and costly effort to rework the shooting schedule, prioritizing scenes featuring the younger versions of the characters. So Blake Lively was supposed to be there and shooting, but I guess she decided that she wasn't going to shoot. She was going to take a break. So in the meantime of shooting, they went and did, and this all ties in because now it's really going to squash anything Isabella Ferreira now has to say about Justin, as well as I was always wondering why young Atlas wasn't involved in Blake's little scheme, but now I think they just couldn't buy him. And then also Brendan Scanar made an interesting interview at the same time before the whole PR tour that they all went on. They had amazing things to say. You can read it. It's on page 43 of the timeline, or you can pause to read. But Brendan Scanar had really great things to say about working with Justin Baldoni in this interview that they were going to use for press a little bit later on. Let's get to the juice of it, because the meeting of the dragons all happened on October 26th. It's important to remember that timeline. October 26th was the meeting of the dragons. So what happened in between? Well, on June 26th, Lively checks in from London. At the end of June, Blake was still trying to get her hands on the daily, still being very nice, playing nice. Says here, I hope all went well this week. You happy with what you got? Such an important piece of the puzzle. Would you mind asking whoever sent before the pick again? I was locked out of my account and I never got to see. It's expired now. But I guess still trying to get it. And then he tells her, you know, it's the last day today. I'll email them now and get it reposted for you. Thank you. So happy to hear. This was all at the end of June. So on the last day, June 27th, 2023, they have their final day of shooting. 2 weeks after the last day of phase 1 was shot is when Isabella Ferreira sent that really nice text to Justin Baldoni, pretty much thanking him for such a wonderful time on set. On July 19th, weeks later, Blake Lively reaches out again during the strike to try to get the dailies. Justin Baldoni is feeling like it's a little bit too early. He doesn't want to share it with her, and they exchange some text messages. It is very strange for an actor to ever get access to all of the dailies, or to even see cuts of the film or scenes, maybe rough cut or stills. Yeah, but this amount of control to take from a director is very unheard of. So then she texts him, I watched the selects you sent. So great. I was so happy and energized. Some solid work from everyone on and off camera. It was really cool to see. We were working so quickly, there was never the time to look back. So it was nice to revisit from an audience perspective. Please let me know who to reach out to get access to the full gallery of dailies. I'm so looking forward to seeing all that we have in the can. And of course, any scenes you cut together, I'd love to see. Hope you're having a good summer and hopefully a good edit. Will your assembly be done soon? So he replies, hi, sorry for slow response. So she texted him on July 19th. He replies on July 20th. Hi, sorry for the slow response. Yes, family is good. Brutal being away for so long and happy we're finally together. Lots happening, all good things overall. Had to hire new editors who I adore. They are going through everything right now. I'm so happy you felt energized by what you saw. Your performance is really, really, really beautiful. Stunning, actually. Regarding dailies, obviously you know I want your input. And that's why I sent the 5-hour playlist. But at this point, it's too early for me to share all the dailies. I start my cut in the early of August, given the new editors, and still going through the rest myself. Also figuring out our shooting plan, as I have to cut and combine and find ways to scale down from the budget. Once I am physically in the edit and have touched scenes myself, I'd love to share with you. I hope you enjoy this time off with your family. Talk soon. She replies on July 20th from that. I don't want to infringe on your time with your cut, of course. Don't feel the need to send me cut scenes. I was just excited to see. Regarding dailies, none of the producers have had access to dailies. It's just you. What a bizarre thing to say. Then he replies on the 20th, sorry, back-to-back meetings. All good. Love the excitement and I'm excited to show you when the time is right. No, not just me. Blank and Jamie have access to dailies, but not assemblies of cuts. We're leading up to the meeting of the dragons. I promise I will get you there. I promise I will get you there. This was July 20th. On August 25th, a month later, as promised, Justin reaches out to her and shares some of his favorite scenes with her. Well, what a change of tone. Do you know, he sends this beautiful happy birthday message, and then all she writes is, thank you so much for the Matcha Machine. That was very thoughtful. He says, enjoy. She has nothing to say about the dailies, nothing to say about the scenes that he sent. Nada. Period. Thanks for the birthday gift. This was August 31st, September 1st, end of August, beginning of September. On October 17th, Lively's agent and manager reaches out to them to request that Justin Baldoni fly to New York to show Blake the assembly cut of the film. Bonkers. Let's go through this text that happened October 17th. Let's just remember, when was the meeting of the dragons? The meeting of the dragons was October 26th. This is October 17th. And this whole string of messages is kind of weird, as all of them. But Blake's agent says, Blake would like to see the cut this week if possible. Hate to make him fly out, but if that is how he would like to do it, she gets it. I assume he's just going to intro it. Awkward otherwise. We'll write Jamie too. Let me know how best to coordinate. Then Jamie responds, hey, blank. At the end of the text, you said we'll write Jamie too, but I'm here. Did you mean someone else? She writes, blank. She suggested he would be down to do it this week, so I asked Blake if that would work. Jamie responds, let me check on that. Not sure what blank is referring to. Maybe she had a convo I wasn't part of. Let me look into what's possible. I don't know who the blank is, but maybe it's either Blake's lawyer, manager, agent, PR person, or Blake herself, because who else could they be talking about? Lively's agent, thanks. Then he writes back, hey, same day, October 17th, Justin is very much looking forward to sharing the rough cut with Blake in person. As mentioned, he has not nor will be sending any links as he's still in his director's cut. He's 4 weeks in and breaking until we have concluded shooting. He is not available to fly there as of now. The plan has been once we get to Jersey, prepping for our shoot, he would take a segment of a day to have Blake join him in a screening room where he can walk her through the cut, as this has been the only way he's shown it to anyone. So much missing, and there are placeholders, and it requires real-time input while viewing. So quite simply, the plan is once we arrive in Jersey, he will share. If we don't make it due to the strike, then once we deal with that, we can revisit and figure out a path to share. I'm sure you get it. So nothing happened in between that time, except Blake was told no. You can't have your hands on all of the dailies. And goodness gracious, good thing she didn't, because she would have already cut her own film from all of those dailies. She would have been well into post-production on her own movie that she was trying to get her hands on. But they had a meeting of the Dragons. All of those people were present. And I think in that meeting, they all came up with a plan, this huge plan to get Blake exactly what she wanted. Because the next communications were on November 8th when Heath reached out to Blake's team in order to give her the shooting schedule, which they do. We will resume shooting on November 27th. He sent that on November 8th at 5:21. You can see it. November 8th at 5:21. On November 9th, Heath reached out to Lively's lawyer about getting aligned, informing her that production was on the ground in New Jersey and eager to get started. So on November 8th, he sends the shooting schedule. On November 9th, he sends an email to Blake Lively's lawyer. So she had lawyers present the entire time. She had lawyers present, and yet she still used her husband in the meeting and not lawyers when she was being repeatedly harassed. Then on November 9th, the very day the SAG-AFTRA strike ended, that's when they receive the 17-point email of non-negotiable conditions that Lively demanded. So she already had this in motion, because how did you get that just 24 hours? You just came up with that entire list? No. And notice how every single one says no more. No more, no more, no more. What is the charity that Justin Baldoni put into the contract to make it ends with us? Crazy. Diabolical. To even continue to say the words no more while trying to take this man's movie to make it your own. To keep bringing up an organization that he had a non-negotiable with in the contract for Sony. And if you think that it was just about safety, so the 17-point list of demands was only about safety and ensuring safety, no, it wasn't. Because the next day, while their lawyers were trying to work out this 17-point demand, Lively was still trying to get her hands on any of the rewrites, also trying to get the one-liners, new script pages, and make sure that she was able to still have her one-on-one screening of the rough cut that has been assembled so far. Everything is intertwined, everything is intentional, and this is so diabolical. Something happened in that meeting on October 25th, 26th with all of these people. They were shot by the paparazzi all going in. What a flex. Only after they had just told Blake Lively finally no, then they don't hear back from her. And then when they do get back to her with a shooting schedule, the very next day, she has all of these terms. Something happened in that meeting. And I'm saying all of these people. I fully believe now, 100%. To what extent, I don't know, but something happened in that meeting. And they almost got away with it. They almost got away with it. I'm still trying to figure out what possibly Bradley Cooper, like why? What does he have to do with this? It can't just be the long-term friendship. It can't just be because Blake set him and Gigi up. There has to be something. Every one of these people got paid, got recognition, got signed, got something out of the deal. And I guess only time will tell. But yeah, a little bit of a rabbit hole. I can't piece it all together why all of these people would coordinate this big plan. Something happened between Blake and Ryan during the writer's strike. It screams jealousy. It screams, we got to get Justin out of here because it's not going to look good for our relationship, our reputation, etc., etc. I don't know. But only time will tell, and the further we get into this, I'm sure more and more is going to be released, but I fully think that by the attorney eyes only, they wanted to protect all of these players, not just Miss Taylor Swift, who is in it and in it and in it. My gosh, she couldn't be any more in it, and we all know about that. But this was a rabbit hole that I went on that I was just like, no! How are all of these people all intertwined? All intertwined. Well, what did happen also during this time of the writer's strike? Well, we know that they announced our girl Scarlett Johansson was going to be having her directorial debut. And who was with that production team? Could it be Justin Baldoni as the executive producer and Wayfarer? That couldn't feel good for Ryan and Blake, you know? Probably was a big hit. Blake was going to be on set again with Anna Kendrick. We all know that they do not like each other. She just had her directorial debut with Woman of the Hour. Probably a huge blow to Blake. And Blake needed something to make her serious, something so she can run with the top dog, something to attach herself to. Ryan already did it with the Deadpool franchise. He tried to do it with Blade. You know? They were trying to do the exact same thing. And while they were pushing Justin Baldoni into the basement of their own premiere on Deadpool and Wolverine, Ryan was pushing out his lead female co-star as well. So there's just too many things happening all at once. This was on purpose. And they almost got away with it had she not given this story to the New York Times to run. And I truly think that she thought that she was going to drop this story on the New York Times. Everyone was going to read it. Everyone was going to believe it 100%. Justin was going to go away. She was going to take over the franchise. Her reputation would have succeeded. Her and Ryan could have been like, oh, they got over, you know. But that's not what happened. And now it's gone too far. And now everyone is about to be exposed. Anyway, I know that was a super long one, and if you followed me through the entire rabbit hole, I'm sure I missed a bunch because it was so deep and there is a lot going on. I'm sure more things will be discovered, but let's all leave with some goodness. As always, I'm going to try to end on a little positive note. Self-love. I'm going to pull a card from Listen Bitch, the deck, and we'll see what we can bring here. If it's a showerless, stay in bed all day type of day, that's okay. Thank gosh, because I had one of those the other day. And but yeah, no matter what kind of day you're having, if you're a go-getter and you have a million things to do, and today is just the day where you're staying in bed and Netflixing and chilling and watching this video and just recharging, that is okay. It is important to recharge. You're no good to anyone when you're empty, okay? You got to be at 100p. So take all the time you need. Take a day of rest. Just recharge, relax, do it for you. Get better, fuel up, and then get going again. Thank you so much. If you have any more questions or any comments on this whole rabbit hole, I know it was a lot to go into, and yeah, it was just so much, but I think it is all connected, and I think all of these people are definitely going to be attorney eyes only, and we may or may not ever find out what the frig is going on. Have the best day. Talk soon. Drop all your comments. I try to get to all of them. And yeah, let's see what this week brings because it's mayhem.